Hey everybody, Spanky the Hero here. We are back with car vlog. It's Monday. I had a car vlog for Friday, but I don't know what happened, and I'm hoping I have it rectified. I'm adjusting my phone because I'm trying to make sure it's pointing the right way. The phone, it was like, the top of the frame was like here. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened, but regardless, it wasn't pointing at me, so that was the important thing. So I ended up scrapping the car vlog, which kind of sucks. I did talk about quite a few things, and I don't remember exactly everything I talked about. But I guess, yeah, I'll just chime in, because there are some new things. So today I'm just going to do an overview of some of the things to talk about, really. XCOM has been on a steady release schedule. If you didn't notice, Saturday I decided to release a video as well, so I'm going to be releasing videos 6 of the 7 days a week. Sundays I'm still keeping off limits. So, yep, Saturdays there will be videos coming out. Sunday I'm sure I could have videos coming out soon once I get a good stockpile. I'm actually getting a little bit ahead on XCOM. I believe episode 11 launched. It was either 10 or 11 went out today. And I think I have up to episode 17. Yeah, I think up to episode 17 edited, uploaded, and I'm just doing like the final stuff, like the title and description. But that's all done, so that puts us in a decent spot. But that's that. Other games coming out. RimWorld is definitely going to happen. I've kind of decided that I'm going to do that, and I'm going to start recording that soon. But also trying not to get too much content going out at once. I want to stick to 2 like major series for the start. So the first series I'm going to start with obviously is XCOM, and I'm going to have something else major coming out, which will probably be RimWorld, or there is a Minecraft playthrough that we're looking to do. Donna has agreed to join me in videos again. We haven't played since Game Dev Tycoon, which I think I still have the saves for, so I want to get that going. We should probably pick that up and try to finish up that series, because that was a doozy. That we had a lot of fun playing that, and we were pretty successful overall, for at least as far as we made it in the game. But there's potential to pick that back up again if I can get her interested. But she was interested in doing Minecraft, doing a Minecraft playthrough, specifically playing Agrarian Skies 2. So it's going to be just the 2 of us, just playing Agrarian Skies 2. Nothing too fancy there. More or less during my testing tonight, I'm going to figure out what we're going to do as our startup, whether we're going to use an existing map or I'm just going to make a sky block with the minimum requirements. We'll see. It's typically just a few pieces of dirt, and then I think well, Agrarian Skies is different, if I remember correctly. I know a traditional skyblock is a bunch of pieces of dirt, a water pool, or an ice block, whichever it is, a bucket of lava, and a tree. This is pretty much the starting setup, so we may do something similar to that. Whatever, I'm going to look to see whatever Agrarian Skies starts with. I know there was a map we played on before, where it had like a little like clay-blocked island, like stained clay or whatever the hell it was. Basically a useless block, but it was like a little block island with a little river and shit like that. So we may do that. We'll figure it out. On the topic of RimWorld, I've been scouting out the mods I want to use, because I like RimWorld by itself, but the mods add like a whole nother level of immersion. Like playing the vanilla game, it works to the progression of getting off planet. But when you start bringing mods into the picture, it works to the perspective of surviving as long as you can. Phone moved. It's not moving, phone. And the survive as long as you can aspect is what really what I like about RimWorld. We can up the challenge a little bit. One of the things that I liked a lot was the Prepare Carefully mod, where it takes, essentially everything has a value. If you wanted to bring different things on to start with, they would have different like values to them, essentially. So what it does is it takes the generic, it basically sets a generic value for the total shit you can take with you, and that's a mix between the number of people, like each person has like a base amount of cost that it takes. Each stat, each leveling up like one stat, like mining up one, costs so much. Making them level up faster and being proficient in them that way costs more. Some traits, I think, do. And then any of the items that come down with the drop pod to have a cost associated with them. What Prepared Carefully does takes all that cost and lets you, if you want, start with a clean slate. No items on the ground and like one person if you want, and start building those people, and then add like a couple people. Like I like to do is, rather than having 3 people that are moderately skilled and a good amount of starting resources, I'll do it with like 4 or 5 people that are meh, like fairly low skilled, like they have a couple high points, but they're not anything extraordinary. And then having just some basic items to get you going. That way it's a little bit rougher of a start, but you at least have more people to help out, which is really useful. Early in the game, having more people is probably the most useful thing. One of the things that'll probably be in there is Warhammer 40k weapons, just because they're cool weapons in general, but they're also like powerful and dangerous at the same time. Like, for example, like the bolter. Actually, I like the las guns the best of all of them, but the bolter is interesting because it's extremely powerful. Like one full salvo fire against like a pirate or something will completely. I was gonna say decapitate, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Decimate's not the word either. Disable. That's the word. Basically one direct salvo will disable somebody, whether it's by giving them like enough fatal wounds to drop to the ground, giving them enough fatal wounds to kill them, enough near fatal wounds to drop them to the ground, or even like just blowing limbs off. Like I've had it before where it'll just like take people's legs off. Like it's actually harder to get additional colonists to, because if you capture a pirate or you capture a hostile of some kind, you have the ability to convince them to join and turn them to your side. Well, it's all, you know, all nice and shit if you get somebody to go to your side, but it sucks if you've blown off both their legs and turned the attack. Like at that point, you got to really weigh out your decisions. So I want to at least have some mods to play in with that kind of stuff too. Go. One of the mods I used before was being able to craft your own like bionic parts. So if you want to build like a bionic leg or a prosthetic leg, you can build it yourself. Even, what was the one? I can't recall what it was called, but it had the ability to rebuild limbs. Essentially, you would take, it's awful, you would butcher humans and get human meat, but that human meat would then be used in a machine to basically break it down to like raw materials to make parts out of, like whether it's an arm or a leg. You like basically regrow limbs, which was insane, and then you can attach them through surgery. It's ridiculous, but it was actually kind of cool and useful. The other thing that was really cool, since they added pets, I always thought that was a cool aspect to the game, but it was also a very challenging aspect, because you had to be cautious about having your pets get killed. Like, being able to train like a dog to haul shit was like amazing. Just send them out, let them do their thing, they'll go and grab like stones and materials lying around. It was very, very useful. One thing that's always been a challenge in that game too is I try to go for the safest approach. Like I'll find like either in like a corner or off to the side, like a small, if you were to think of it in like a sense of like water, like a cove, but a mountain, basically a cove of mountain around a landmass that I can easily defend, where I can just kind of close off the inside of that cove, build my initial base there, and then dig into the mountain. That's always been my favorite thing to do, is just burrow into the mountain. I think next time I'm actually going to build like smack dab in the center of the map, whatever map we get. So I figure at least being in the center of the map would be easier to grab resources from all over. I know there's always stuff on the map that my people never get because it's just way out of range. But we might be able to make better use of that, keep it centralized, and we'll see how it plays out. I mean, we may get a map where it's just not feasible to be in the center. Or we may get a map that it's like, it's totally doable. So we'll see how that plays. Dude, people just like in the middle of the intersection. So those are two big things that are coming up. Those playthroughs are kind of important, so I want to get those going. The homebrew schedule has definitely been delayed. April's a very busy month for us, so I'm probably not going to get to get any brewing done. I know a buddy of mine's looking to do a brew, so I may go over there for filming purposes. We'll have to see when he wants to do it, if I'm available or not. One of the recommendations I got for the channel was to do was basically to look for YouTube challenges. Now, I've seen a few of them, like the Don't Laugh challenge and shit like that. Like, I can see myself doing those, but I know I'm gonna laugh, so I don't see the real point there. Some other challenges, like different like food-related challenges and stuff. I don't know, it just doesn't really appeal to me, but I'd be willing to give it a shot at this point just to see if there's any entertainment value from it. The other thing a friend of mine talked, well, different friend of me. Another thing a different friend of mine talked to me about was doing like the subscriber goals. So having subscriber goals is something interesting. I'd like to, do something when I hit like 100 subscribers and, each set up a bunch of milestones and do something. I have no idea what I do, just like goofy stuff. The one that was suggested was to take, so in homebrew, we use, for our mash tun and our hot liquor tank, we use those big, like 10-gallon cylindrical coolers. Best example is like the Gatorade coolers they have at football games, like you see them pour it on the coach kind of thing. We use those as part of our homebrew equipment. The recommendation I got was, for a subscriber milestone, fill it up with water and ice, full 10 gallons, pretty much just dive into it head first, and then stand up with it, holding it, and just pour it over my head and the rest of my body. I'm like, I might as well do like an ice bucket challenge, just pour it over my head, but I guess that's supposed to be funnier? I don't know, I'll do it. I mean, so, well, here's the thing. If I hit 100 subscribers, I'll do it. I mean, I definitely need some more zealous goals overall. I'll do it. It's fine. Another thing I considered doing was more like tabletop gaming. I used to be a huge fan of Warhammer. Warhammer 40K. Those were really big games for me. I still have some of my 40K stuff. I don't have any of my... I never really owned any Warhammer Fantasy models or anything. I always played Friends Armies and kind of just got by. But it's something I would consider doing. I'm trying to think how much I have. Like, I have enough to form a decent-sized army, but I really don't have anybody to play with. That's the big problem, You can't really play with yourself. In Warhammer, it doesn't really do well. I don't think my wife's very interested. I've asked Anna about it before, and she's been like, meh. So, I'll have to see if I can find someone to coordinate with, maybe do a few games, maybe a scenario or something. Like I see, if you haven't checked them out yet on their website or on YouTube, Mini War Gaming. I love these guys. Just the stuff they do is really cool. They have a lot of cool narrative campaigns and like character progression campaigns that I'd love to do if I had that stock of models that they have. It's ridiculous. Like cool things like the, what is it? Damn it, I can't even think of the name of it, but they progress a Chaos Lord up through become a demon. The other one that they're doing now is a Death Watch, which is really cool. I really enjoy that one, where they basically build this rolling dice to determine what's going to be in their squad of Death Watch soldiers. And once they do that, they'll progress, gain experience, and gain war gear, and they'll be able to customize them throughout the campaign. Really fucking cool. Would love to do it. don't have the resources to really do it. So that's something that I'd like to explore eventually. One idea that I had was adult board games and card games and stuff. So Magic I've talked about, Pokemon I've talked about. Cards Against Humanity is a game that, it's a very special game, depending on who you're playing it with, but being able to play a few sessions of that would be a lot of fun. I have to find, there's a few people that would be willing to do it. I don't know how many would be willing to do it on camera. So I'd have to, I don't know, I'd have to convince some people there. But if I could pull that off, that could be a lot of fun. There's usually alcohol involved and good times are had and some crazy shit there. So we'll see how that plays out. If that becomes an option, I'm totally down for it. The last thing I really wanted to talk about was Patreon. So recommendations came along to make my own Patreon page. So I did. I don't know how I want to organize it yet. I'm really very new to that kind of concept. Almost like crowdfunding in general is not something I'm really familiar with. I want to get a little bit more content. Like, I have the page up. I'm not going to wait till I get more content to put the page up. I need to customize it a little bit, add a little more information on it about me, about what we're doing, and the one thing that makes me feel weird about it is I do this for fun. What's interesting to mention is, though, the thing is, I do this for fun, so it's not, I don't know, I really don't know how to put this into words. It's hard for me to go through these kind of motions to say, hey, if you give me this much money, I'll do this, or you get this. So I started slapping at least something together. And the original model I went with was subscription-based, so like monthly goals and, rewards for different tiers. But a lot of the stuff is still in motion that I really want to do, like having a setup on SpankyTheHero.com where I can have, exclusive content for there, things that either I don't intend to have on YouTube, the bloopers, my edit reels, anything like that, I want to have on SpankyTheHero.com. I already screwed around with my own chat, my own stream chat, essentially. But then I really started thinking about that, and it's just like reinventing the wheel, so I didn't want to do that. I'll leave it. I'm probably going to change the description for the rewards about the chat. But it's going to be more or less like a members-only area. But I don't know how I feel about the goal structure, like being able to build goals based off of monthly subscription. A lot of what makes the most sense is based off of just like one-time cash goals. So the first goal that I have right now is to get $50 a month, which I'm actually going to change, but to get $50 a month, and that $50 a month is going to basically keep cycling and upgrading my AV gear. So it'd be the initial thing will be like some microphones, a stand. Like when I get that, I don't want to say when I get that first $50, because as soon as I get the first dollar, it's going to start going towards it. Once I have enough collected to buy a piece of equipment, which would be like the microphone and a stand, I'm just going to flat out buy it. I'm probably going to buy it myself before I reach the goal, so that'll end up changing anyway. But the subscription goals make sense in a way. If I reach a certain point, like according to the recommendations, if I'm releasing content at a certain schedule, I should probably do a subscription based, and I'm at that level, I guess, but I'm trying to do the daily releases and things like that. But I'm not at a fan base or anything like that. I don't have the backing for that, so I'll probably do one-time donation based goals. Other than that, I'll probably put some stuff in for a smaller goal for server payments and costs and things like that. But stay tuned. I'll have more info on the Patreon page soon enough. Links in the description. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.